There have been questions about whether or not that, in theory, it sounds good, but whether it would actually work tactically. And yesterday in Ohio, Senator John McCain, himself a war veteran, had this to say about the amendment. Let's listen.
The Constitution of the United States gives no authority for the Congress of the United States to set lengths of tour or lengths of duty in the military, and I hope we will steadfastly reject this kind of micromanagement, which would create chaos.
That's what he said. Are you micromanaging or overstepping your bounds as a senator?
First of all, Senator McCain, who I've known for 30 years, needs to read the Constitution. There's a provision in Article 1, Section 8, which clearly gives the Congress the authority to make rules with respect to the governance of the ground and naval forces. There's precedent for this. I used to run the mobilization programs in the Pentagon when I was Assistant Secretary of Defense.
Why did it fail earlier this summer, then, if it's not contentious?
Well, because the Iraq War is contentious, and it was roughly along party lines, although we did get 7 Republicans for it. And I think that from then until now, hopefully we've had enough people begin to understand more clearly how difficult this for the men and women who are making these repeated deployments.
Right,
this
is
difficult.
I know you know this firsthand because your own son is just back. He was deployed, returned from service in May, and is now back at Camp Lejeune. But the defense chief also opposes it because he says we're having enough difficulty as it is with the 15-month deployments and 12 months at home making this work. Are we setting ourselves up for disaster?
We're not setting ourselves up for disaster.
If we don't have enough troops in the war zone?
We have a lot of troops in the war zone. The question, as Admiral Fallon said when he was in, he's General Petraeus' operational commander, said it's not how many you have, it's how you use them. And I've been around the military all my life. It's not simply my service or my son's service. I talk to people in Iraq and who have been in Iraq on a daily basis. This is something that can work. This administration can no longer be believed when it's talking about policy in Iraq. You know, 5 years ago, let me say one thing. 5 years ago, I wrote a piece for the Washington Post saying that if we went into Iraq, there would be no exit strategy because these people didn't intend to leave. It's taken them 5 years to admit that. They did last week when they said we were going to be, in their view, in Iraq, just like we've been in Korea for the next 50 years. Is this amendment part of a larger strategy of bringing the troops home, or is this what it is, if this debate's going to go on like this, and if we now have an administration that's admitting it wants to be in Iraq for the next 50 years, we have to put a safety net under the way that they are using our people. And I think that's the appropriate role of the Congress.
The president's threatening a veto, so will this be all for naught, even if you do get the 60 votes, Senator?
If I were the President of the United States and I had an expression of the Congress that basically said you can't keep people in Iraq longer than you're allowing them to be at home, I'd think twice before I vetoed that.